Just gonna take a quick shower over here. Just walking in the water, wiggle around a little bit, and yeah, okay, looks like I'm clean. Hey everybody, I'm Fane, and I am back today with more Medieval Dynasty. So, in the last episode, we went ahead and made a house. How lovely. It's a beautiful house. It is just a beginner house, but, you know, gotta start from somewhere. We also set up a trap back there for rabbits. Hopefully we catch something soon, and we hunted a little rabbit. So now, today, I said that I was going to be on the hunt for a wife. So that's what we're going to do. So in order to find a wife, we're going to be spending a lot of time traveling. And we're going to start by going to Gustovia, because it's the closest little town. And then from there, we'll go to Borowa. And then we'll just make like a big circle looking for a wife to marry. And we can't just walk up to her and say, oh, hey, let's get married. Obviously, that would be a little bit weird. So there are steps that we have to go through. We're going to have to woo her. And in the process of wooing her, which, you know, takes a little bit of time, we're actually going to have to move her into a house of her own, because we obviously can't just put her in the same house as us. That would be a little weird. You know, this is medieval times. They're a little, you know, non-progressive. They don't agree with living together before marriage. So she's going to need her own house that she can live in while I force her to fall in love with me. So that's what we're going to work on. We are going to go to these villages. We're going to look for someone to marry, and she's going to have to fill out certain qualifications. She's going to have to be worthy of my affection. You know, we can't just find, you know, we can't go after the first woman that we find. We have to find someone who, you know, deserves us. I'm joking. Probably. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look for someone, and I will be back as soon as we find someone. Okay, and we are here in Gustovia, the first stop on our little road trip. You may remember this from episode 1. It's where we met the Castellan, and we learned about being able to build anywhere we want to. So in every little town and village, there's going to be like a little fireplace right over here. And these people around them, you'll see like the little person symbol next to them. These mean that they are recruitable for our settlement. So that means you can actually talk to them and convince them to join you. Unfortunately, these are all guys, and we are looking for a woman right now, but we will be looking for guys later on. This is because every house can have a man and a woman, but you can't put 2 men or 2 women in the same house. So each house that we build, we're going to want to find 1 man and 1 woman to put in there. And when you put them in there, they're going to actually end up having kids eventually. It can take quite a while before they'll end up falling in love and having kids. But since we are looking for a wife right now, we are going to travel a little bit further and hopefully find a woman. And then I'll show you about stats and things like that. Okay, I'm back, and this is the campfire over here in Borowa. So there are actually 2 women around this campfire and 1 guy. So if we actually talk to her, let's see. Oh, wait, that's not right. We don't talk to her. Yes, that's telling us we need to find a wife. I believe, what is it? Alt. Okay, so for me it's Alt. You may want to check your key bindings to see what your inspector mode is. But if we look at her stats, you can see the 3, you can see the 2s, and the 1 over there. So each of these is a different skill. And the skills that they are good at decide what they can do. So that skill all the way to the left is an excavating skill. That means she's good at things like chopping down wood, and she's also good at things like mining. We look, oh, I'm a little low on stamina, so I'm going to let that recharge really quickly. So she's actually a pretty good candidate, because we are going to need some wood in the beginning, and we're going to need a lot of wood. If we check her, she doesn't have any 3 skills. So I would say we're probably gonna go with Adida here because of that really nice skill. She's actually, and then she only has one level 1 skill, which is really good. I like to focus on people with level 3 skills primarily because the higher their skill level is, the more they're going to be able to produce when they're working. So with that level 3, she's going to produce a lot of wood, and that's going to be really nice, especially early, because we're going to do a lot of building. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to her, and we're going to go to romance. So we don't have any gifts right now. There are specific items, gift items that you can obtain in the game, but they are very expensive, and we are very broke. So we don't have any of those right now. We're going to go here and just talk to her. And this is tricky because each person that you talk to, each person that you try to romance is going to have one of 3 like character traits, which is going to decide how much affection they gain from each of these. So we have to pick the right choices, and then hopefully we're going to get some a lot of affection. But since we don't really know what she is right now, we're just going to start with one of these randomly. Okay, so that one was really good. So we're going to go ahead and ask her another question. We have a certain amount that we can do every day. So I think we can do 3. Let me see. Okay, so that should be it for now. So we're going to come back to Adida, and we're going to continue trying to romance her. But what we're going to do is we're going to get her to move in next to us first. So that way we can just talk to her every day and get that affection up. We need to get her affection up to 100. I am starving. Oh, hold on here. Let me just eat a bunch of food. Okay, there we go. That's better. I was actually losing health from hunger. That's not great. So yeah, we're going to talk to her every day as soon as she moves in, and then hopefully we will get her affection up to 100. We've been really lucky so far with +5 every time. And if we can get her to 100, then we can marry her. And that'll be our first objective complete. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run back to my house, which is nice and marked on the map over here. So I'm going to run back to my house, and I'm going to start working on her house. And I'll just build it right next to my house. So I will be right back. Okay, and that's this house built. So it is the next day. I did have to go to sleep because it got pretty late. In the game, not in real life. It's still the same day in real life. So I did build the house, and that means that we actually have a place that our future wife can move into. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to try to recruit her and send her to the village, and if everything goes well, she will be more than happy to come live here. We are also, since it is another day, going to try talking to her again and see if we have as much luck as we had last time. Hopefully we do. So I'm gonna head off, and I'll be back once I reach her. Okay, here I am, meeting Adida once again. Lovely day for it. So I'm gonna talk to her, and let's see. Yeah, she does in fact let us talk to her again. So it is every day. Let's see. So far, she's been pretty down to earth, I think. We've talked about colors and favorite animals. I think maybe favorite season of the year. Okay, that was a good one. Let's see what else she might like. Okay, we already know because we've already seen this one pop up. That one's a given. And our dialogue has changed. We can no longer just ask her a question. How are you doing, beautiful, is our new response. And we actually have more options, and I think it's going to pull from a different pool of possible topics now. So this might be a little tricky. These are a little bit more complicated topics. So I'm pretty sure this top one is actually when you are asking her to marry you. So we don't want that yet, because she's only at 25% affection. I think maybe this one. Okay, that she didn't like that one. But let's try it again. Let's see. Okay. I actually lost 5 there. So she's very down to earth, so I don't think compliments are really her thing. But we'll have time to practice. So what now I'm going to do is I'm going to tell her about the new settlement and see if she's willing to join me. And she is. So now that she's actually joining my settlement, she's going to stay here with me the whole time. So what I'm going to have to do is, you'll notice up in the top left, you have all these symbols right now. So that's basically telling me is that the one on the left showing the house means that I have a villager who doesn't have a place to live. I haven't assigned her a home yet, so she's basically homeless. So I'm going to have to do that soon. The next one, with like the drumstick and the apple, is saying that she doesn't have any food. So what I'm going to have to do is give her food by putting food in her house for her. The next one over with the water droplets is the exact same as the food, but meaning she doesn't have water. And the last one means she doesn't have wood. In order to take care of all of these, I'm going to have to return home and first start by assigning her a house. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, and here I am at Adida's future house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up here, and if you click on this signboard, you're actually able to assign Adida, one of our villagers. But there is actually another way that is faster, that you're able to do without running all the way back to your village. And if you pull up the menu and you go to management, for me that's tab, it'll just bring a management up. I can click the house that I want to assign them to, and then here we go. Here's the assigned tenant. So then I can assign Adida. The reason I ran over this time instead of just doing this method is, even though this method lets me put her in a house, it doesn't actually let me give her food, water, or wood. So you can see that the little house icon in the top left went away, but the other icons are still there. So I can take care of the wood one right away because I have some logs left from when I was building the house. So I can just move all 3 logs over, and that means she now has wood, so that icon went away. But she also needs food, and luckily for us, we just caught a rabbit. So we're going to collect this rabbit, and we're going to arm the trap again. And then we're going to come over here. And, we are going to... Well, actually, we should be able to just put the meat in here, and she can cook it herself. Yeah, there we go. So she has food now. The last thing that she needs is water. And luckily, this is the hardest part of a villager to actually satisfy, because you need to actually put a container of water in there, which means you're either buying a container or you're finding one. Luckily for me, I found this water skin, which is a container. So I can come over here, and I can fill up the water skin, just like this. And then I can take the water skin and I can put that in her house, and she'll have water, which is great. As I get more villagers, they're going to drink more water, which means I'm going to need more containers of water to be able to keep up with them. So this water skin holds 4 gulps of water, which should keep her good for a few days at least. So you can see that all of the icons up in the top left are gone now. All of her needs are met, so she's happy. And if we hit tab to come back to the management again, we can see that right here, her mood is actually increasing. If the mood of a villager gets too low, they're just going to flat out desert you. So you actually want to increase their mood as much as possible. So that little green arrow is a good thing. It means that her mood is going up, so she's going to stay. She's happy. She's content. And while we've got this open, we're going to come over to skills, because I have leveled up a few times. So I think right here, we can either go with faster tree cutting, faster mining and digging, or we can just get mule again. And I think I'm going to get mule again for more carry weight, because you really cannot underestimate that. Survival has gone up quite a bit, so I think athlete gives you slower stamina consumption during movement. Solid as a rock gives you less damage received. They're both really good, but I don't think I'm going to be doing anything that's going to get me hurt right now, and I am going to need a lot of movement. So I think I'm just going to get athlete all the way up, because I got 3 points. So I'm going to get that all the way up to level 3, so 30% slower stamina consumption. I think that'll be really useful. And then if we come to production, I've got 2 points here. So I should pick between handyman or builder. Handyman is something that you're probably going to want to get soon, because what this allows you to do is insulate walls, which lowers the firewood that you're going to consume. So builder just lowers the durability loss of your hammers, which is useful. But I think this time I'm going to go with handyman. I don't need it yet, because I don't have a lot of villagers, and so I'm not having a lot of wood consumption, but I will in the future, so that's sort of an investment. Over here, we can get faster crafting for the next tier. And I think since I got more points in crafting, I'm going to get more faster crafting in workshop and smithy as well. Again, these only affect you, not your villagers, which is a shame. Over here in technology, so this just shows what I've currently unlocked, the simple house. So I'm looking for, let's see, I don't see, I can make a chest so I can, put that down somewhere and store things if I need to. I'm looking for another container for water, which I'm not seeing it. Might be over here. Okay, here we go. Bucket. So basically, I would have to... You have to first unlock the workshop, which then allows you to buy the bucket recipe, which is better than just buying buckets, I'll be honest. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is when it comes time for me to add more water sources, I will actually unlock this and build several buckets. But before that even happens, we need to get our settlement set up for we need to get it set up with a woodshed. So the woodshed will allow us to actually assign a villager, and lucky for us, our wife is very good at cutting down wood. So we can actually set her, once we set up the woodshed, to have her going and chopping down wood. And that will supply us with wood. But even before that, to be honest, we probably want the resource storage. Because when we are obtaining something from, a production building like the woodshed, it needs to go somewhere. And what the resource storage is really good for is our villagers can actually get things that they need out of that resource storage. So if we put wood in that resource storage, then everybody, no matter what house they're in, can get the wood out of the resource storage to fill their needs. So it's a really good way of managing your supplies. Instead of having to go to every single house for your villagers and putting wood in there, you can just put wood in the resource storage. So we're going to want to build that as soon as possible. So that's probably going to be next on our list. And then we're going to follow that with the woodshed. And that'll get our wood production going and allow us to actually produce what we need. And I believe we can probably get that done before the end of this season. Maybe not, because that's going to be a lot of building. So probably not until we reach the next season. So we probably won't be able to finish that until the next season. We also, on our list of to-dos, we need to talk to Dobraniga. So that's probably going to be as soon as possible as well. And I would also say we're going to want to look at other villagers besides our future wife, because we can build another, like a third house, have more villagers move in, and start producing other things, which will be really useful for us. But that is probably going to come after we set up some wood production. So we want to get that wood production going, and then we can use that to build more houses and then get more villagers. And I believe this is future wife right now. What was your name again? I'm sorry. Adaita. So this is Adaita. She has finally arrived. They do actually walk all the way to your settlement from wherever they are. Luckily, even in transit, they can be producing things, because you can assign them to a workplace just like you assign them to the house. And they can construct from there. Where is she going? Where are you headed? She doesn't really have a job, so she's probably just gonna go straight to her house, right? Yeah, that's where she's going. Into her house. Okay, well, that is our first step of obtaining a wife. And I think this is probably a good place to stop. So we recruited our first villager, who we will eventually marry. It's just going to take a little bit of time. We had a lot of ups with her, one big down. That's not great. Gonna have to be careful what we say to her in the future. She's very sensitive. But yeah, so this is the first step of our little future town. For now, it's a little more than 2 shacks in the woods, but we are going to grow this into a massive, beautiful settlement one day. Until then, I will catch you guys later, and in the next episode, we will start working on our wood supply and our storage. Getting a little bit stalkerish right now. just watching her through the bushes. Okay. Oh, my health. I'm losing health because I'm starving. That's great.